everyone, I am teacher Julie and I am your teacher in English, which will be discussing to you these functions of nouns. So last meeting we tackled the different kinds of nouns. Okay, we already know what is noun and its kind. So it is important for us to know this because it is essential in identifying people, things, animals, places, and ideas. Okay? So it can help one express his or her feelings or ideas accurately. Okay? So a noun can have different functions inside the sentence. So I have here 7 functions of nouns. First one is the subject. Okay, it acts or it functions as a subject. So a noun functions as a subject if the noun performs the action, he is doing the action or she is doing the action, or is used with a be verb. Okay, so this is a most common function of noun. So for example, May is both my sister and my best friend. Okay, so May is the performer of the action. The children enjoy listening to music. Okay, children. May and children are both the performer or the one that is doing the action. That's why they are called as the noun as a subject. Okay, they act as a subject inside the sentence. Next, we have here the second one, the noun that acts as a subject complement. Okay? Subject complement. From the word complement. Okay? It complements the subject. Okay? Noun is equal to or it renames the subject. Okay? It follows by a linking verb such as be, seem like, look like, or become. Excuse me. So, for example, we have here, May is my best friend. Who is your best friend? That is May. It renames the subject. Our subject inside the sentence is May. Okay? And who is the best friend? That is also May. Best friend is talking about May. So therefore, best friend is the one or is the subject complement to the subject May. Okay? It renames the subject. Who is May? That is the best friend. Who is the best friend? That is May. So therefore, that is subject complement, the best friend. Next. Next example we have, it is a fun activity. Okay? It. What is fun? Okay? What is fun? That is the activity. Activity is fun. Okay? So it is our subject. It. Okay? And to rename the subject, we have here the activity. This is the name of the subject. Activity. It is a fun activity. What is fun? The activity is fun. Okay? So therefore, this is what we call as subject complement. The best friend and the activity. Because they are the one renaming to the subject. Renaming the subject. Okay? For you to know what is or where is the subject complement, you have to find first the subject. Okay? Find first the subject before finding the subject complement. Because subject complement is the one renaming the subject. Okay? Next one we have the direct address. A direct address is a noun which is used to communicate a message directly to another person or group. So you are talking to someone. Okay? The subject is talking to someone. That's why it is called direct address. Okay? Person address may be identified by a name or a nickname. Name of a person addressed is set by a comma or a pair of commas. So as you can see, we have here again an example. Mom, I have something to tell you. Okay? So I am talking to mom. Okay? I am referring to mom. Mom, I have something to tell you. Again, there is a comma. Okay, mom. I am calling my mom. How are you, Steve? Okay, I am talking to Steve. So therefore, this is direct address. Mom and Steve are direct address. Okay? Again, they are set off by a comma. You can know if it is a direct address if they are separated by a comma. Okay? How are you, Steve? There is a comma before the noun. Okay? If the noun is uh, directly or directed to another person, that is a direct address. Okay? Mom and Steve. Mom. I am talking to mom. Okay? My message is for my mom. How are you? The message is for Steve. Okay? So therefore, this is called a noun which acts as a direct address. Okay? Next one we have here a positive. So when we say a positive, it renames the noun right beside it. Okay, right beside it. It can be a short or long combination of words and also set off by a comma. So a positive, di ba we tackled a while ago the subject complement, which is it renames the subject. While here, in a positive, it explains a noun or pronouns preceding it. Okay, they are explaining the noun or pronoun before it. Okay, so May, my best friend, likes music, likes to listen to music. Okay, who likes to listen to music? It is May, which is my best friend. Okay, it renames the subject, my best friend. So as you can see, an appositive is also set off by a comma. Okay, if it is set off by a comma and it is renaming to another person, which is um, beside her, okay, pag malapit sa kanya yung noun, that is an appositive. So, my best friend is talking about May. Okay, who is the best friend? That is May. Okay, we once watched a concert of our favorite band. What band? The Rockets. Okay, ito yung noun. This is the noun that is being talking about. And what is that noun? Who is that band? That is the Rockets. Okay? So again, it renames the noun right beside it. This is the noun and this is the renaming noun, which is we called as the appositive. Okay? It can be short, the Rockets, or it can belong my best friend. Okay? Which are set off by a commas. Okay? Just look at the example. Okay? Just look at the sentence when you are thinking what kind of noun is it or what function of noun. Okay? If the renaming noun is beside the noun being talked about, that is an appositive. But if it just remains or renames the noun, okay, in our example a while ago in subject complement, which is the renaming noun or the subject complement is at the end of the word, that is subject complement. But if the renaming word is beside the noun, that is an appositive. Okay? Dapat magkatabi sila. Okay? That is a positive. Next, we have here the direct object. Okay? Direct object is acts as a receiver of the action. It is the one being um, he is the one receiving the action. Okay? It follows an action verb also. So I heard music when it first met when I first met my best friend. This is I. Okay? I heard music when I first met my best friend. We like each other because we share same interest. Okay? We like each other. So as you can see again, the hint in direct object, it follows an action verb. So, look at the action verb first. Heard, like. So, therefore, the following word is the direct object. I heard music. What did you hear? What did you heard? That is music. What are we? We like each other. Okay? Who did we like? Each other. Okay? So, therefore, this direct object can answer the question whom or what after an action verb. Okay? Again, you have to look at the action verb first before you find the direct object. If you find the word after the action verb, ask yourself a question. Whom or what? Okay? For example, what did I heard? That is music. That's why this is called as direct object. Okay? Whom we like. Okay? The answer is each other. Okay? So therefore, it answers the question who, whom, or what. Okay? And that is what we call as direct object. Next one, we have here the indirect object. So an indirect object answers the question to or for whom or to or for what. Okay? What the action word is. It follows the action verb and does not come with the words to or for. Walang to or for. Okay? But it follows the action verb. I gave May a journal as my birthday gift. She usually gives our friends pieces of advice. So as you can see, you have to find first again the action verb. So action verb here is gave and gives. Okay? So let's ask ourselves a question because in direct object, we can answer the question to or for whom and to or for what. I gave May a journal as my birthday gift. Okay? To whom did you give a journal? It is to May. Okay? To whom did you give a journal as a birthday gift? It is to May. So, therefore, May is an indirect object. Next, she usually gives our friends pieces of advice. To whom did she give a pieces of advice? Okay? To whom did she usually give a pieces of advice? That is to our friends. Okay? So therefore, May and our friends are indirect object because they answers the question to whom or to or for whom and to or for what. Okay? And it is followed by an action verb. Okay? So therefore, they are considered as indirect object. Next one we have here. The last one, the object of the preposition. So, a noun that acts or functions as an object of the preposition. So, here, this is the very easy one because if you see a preposition, the other word next to it is the object of the preposition. Easy as that. Example, the students wrote their essay on a paper for their English class. They did it with passion. So our first example, let's look at it. The student wrote their essay on paper for their English class. So as you can see, in the first example, we have two prepositions, which is on and for. Okay? So the following word here are the object of the preposition. So we have two object of the preposition in one sentence. On a paper and for their English class. So that is an object of the preposition. Okay? Again, it follows a preposition. Next, in second example, they did it with passion. Okay? The preposition here is with, and it is being preceded, or there is a passion after it. So therefore, the passion is what we call now as an object of the preposition. preposition. Okay? So are we clear with our lesson? Okay, so the last word again in the object of the preposition are what we called as the prepositional phrase. Okay? So, for a summary, this is the one that you have to copy in your notebook. And so I hope you learn from our lesson for today. And if you have any question, just comment down below. Okay? And let me know if you have another question. And okay? Bye and thank you for listening.